Happy Friday, everybody. It seems hard to shake the summer feel, but full work weeks will do that to you. So today is September 13th, 2024, and this is your Friday the 13th planning video. Today I want to talk about 401ks and Roth 401ks, as well as IRAs and Roth IRAs. And I want to deal with both the funding of them and the withdrawals from them. First, this is not personal tax advice. This will hopefully bring you a great deal of information so that you can have a fruitful meeting with you and your tax and legal advisor. As I've said over and over again, the most successful clients we see are those that have their team of professionals assembled. The decision about what I'm about to talk about are very specific to your own financial plan. So please engage your team in this conversation. So let's talk about the funding part first, and this will lead us right into the part about withdrawals. Just to lay out a few facts, traditional IRAs and 401ks are funded with pre-tax dollars in most cases. This can be different in special non-deductible IRA contributions, but that's a special case. As most people know, if you contribute to your traditional 401k, the money that goes into the plan is put there before it hits your taxable income, and thus it is not taxed to you at that time. Just as a spoiler, the idea behind this is that has always been that when you withdraw the money in retirement, your tax rate will be lower, and that is conventional wisdom. If you're a high income earner, you may find that your 401k is growing quickly, and let's address that. And that may partially lead us into the Roth conversion and the Roth conversation. What we find is that your 401k is often your largest asset and certainly one of the largest liquid assets that you have and control. Now, quick aside, speaking of control, please, if you're not reviewing and considering your 401k in your financial plan for any reason, please let me know. There's now a great new plan that allows us to properly bring those assets that are held in your plan into the conversation and the execution of your plan. So this is new, so please ask me about it. Next, let's talk about what this may look like again. This will be different for each of you, but you may recognize the situation. What we find a lot in your situation is that your large 401k, being a large part of your wealth, will not be the largest part of your income plan in retirement. Now, cutting to the chase, this was fine until the Secure Act 2.0 and the 10-year rule that came along with it. Now, simply, here is the change. Previously, many of you planned to pass your 401k assets or your IRAs to your kids for the next generation to have that wealth. That was not a tax gift. The law allowed them to stretch those withdrawals over their lifetime so they didn't end up with a few years of major taxable income from your 401k. This was fine as it allowed your heirs to do the proper tax planning over long periods of time, and in many cases, and thus minimize the major tax hit. That all changed with the Secure Act 2.0 and the 10-year rule that requires inherited IRAs to be completely withdrawn by December 31st of the 10th year post-inheritance. This is only in the case of non-spouse heir, or a few other special situations, but let's put numbers to this. If you accumulate a $2 million 401k and then roll it into an IRA, and it is worth $2 million at the time of your passing, if it goes to your children, say 4 of them, it's easier math, the 4 of them starting in year 1 will first of all have to continue your RMD if you had started that. That is the least of the issues. Each of the 4 of them, assuming equal distributions, is looking at $500,000 that will need to come out of that account and be taxed at ordinary income levels to them. And by the way, consider that if it's invested, it is possible that growth of that money brings that number up. All of that $500,000 plus any growth before it all comes out must come out and be taxed before the end of the 10th year. Okay, I think you get all that. The tax time bomb of the traditional 401k or IRA. How do we address this issue? There are many ways to consider, as you can imagine, but one that I want to suggest to you is you get ahead of this. And depending on how it fits into your plan, consider using after-tax dollars to contribute to your 401k. That is, use the Roth 401k option if you have it. Most plans have it at this point. If yours does not, please let me know. We may want to talk to your employer about making their plan better. By using the after-tax dollars into the Roth, you will still need to remove the money from the IRA or 401k by the end of year 10, but all those withdrawals are tax-free, so that's certainly less worrisome. This is the get ahead of it idea. Build it so that it will be tax-free bucket for your heirs. For those that already have that time bomb ticking, here are a few ideas. Again, there is a reason we call it personal financial planning. Please talk to your tax advisor about this. First, consider changing the idea of required minimum distributions to maximum distributions. Let me be clear. As I tell anyone with RMDs, the IRS does require you take it out for RMD and pay taxes on it. They do not require you spend it. You can reinvest it, and it can be done in a way that sets that asset up for a better tax situation for your heirs. So regardless of the fact that the RMD age keeps going up, it may be better to start taking smaller amounts as you go, even before your RMD age, as long as you're past 59 and a half. This will move this money from the tax-deferred growth that's deferring your income to money that is growing that will be subject to capital gains taxes, usually lower than income taxes. 3 other ideas on how to minimize that tax time bomb. First, consider Roth conversions now. Yes, you will have to pay income taxes on all that money that you convert now, but it will then be moved into the tax-free growth going forward. Again, this is a very personal tax decision, but it is one of the options. By the way, once you've inherited the IRA, you cannot do Roth conversions with those funds. Second, the use of life insurance has become another option for this. And once again, it will require the money to come out of the IRA and ordinary income paid on it. But once it comes out, insuring your own life, the owner of the IRA will set the payouts at your passing to no longer be in the IRA. It'll be life insurance proceeds. And many times the tax treatment on that is better than the ordinary income tax, sometimes much better. Talk to your tax advisor. This is another level of offense. As the older you get, the less healthy you get. This is harder. The harder it is to use this plan, so think about it now. Finally, share the wealth. Yes, we talk about philanthropy a lot here, so I will add that qualified charitable distributions is available starting at age 70 and a half. This allows you to remove up to $100,000 per year from your IRA directly to charitable institutions. This will not be taxed as income. Before you get too excited, you do not get the tax deduction for that charitable gift also, only one bite of that apple. But this is another way to fund your philanthropy and manage your IRA. The key here is that this is not just an old person's job. There is offense that can be played by the young as you accumulate your wealth, as well as the defense if you are older and have already accumulated your wealth. In wrapping up, please take all of this into account and let's sit down with your tax and legal advisors and review some options. Admittedly, I've heard a lot of retirement plans from the one person who told me that their plan was to be a burden on their kids and another who told me that they wanted to get hit by a bus after taking his last $20 from the ATM. Of course, regardless, the steps and the ideas that I spoke about today can result in larger legacies for your family and less or no tax liabilities for them to deal with. In most cases, this is what we try to do. Please engage in this conversation. It is a new idea since the Secure Act 2.0 came out. It is not in your old plan. It does need your tax advisor's input, so let's get everybody together. Until then, stay in touch and have a great weekend.